Hey guys, back with another video for you guys. Back with another Bears game recap. Talking the Chicago Bears. Why? Why? Every single week. I don't know when this is gonna get fixed. It may never get fixed. I don't know, but it's just the more I watch, the more I just get depressed, and the more I'm just ready for this season to end completely. Like it's obvious these guys have all checked out. They maybe have a little bit of fight. They did fight a little bit better defensively this game as opposed to last week, but regardless, I there's nothing else I can say. It
Yeah,
was just eh.
yeah, I gotta admit it. You clearly saw the frustration in Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Caleb Williams when he took that big shot in the fourth quarter. Um, and it's just not one person. It's not one person to blame. I mean, the
It's
Bears
just an
can't.
organizational issue.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I mean, I want to say that there's going to be grass, that'll be greener on the other side, but I honestly think that, I mean, fish rots from the head down, and the head of this fish is George McCaskey. I just don't see anything that's going to sit up here and make me believe that there's going to be true change until he decides to relinquish control of the team.
Yeah, unless the board tells him, "Hey, you're done being chairman, just be
Yeah,
an owner. That's it."
yeah,
I
'cause I think, and me personally, I was done with McCaskey when he said, "I'm not a football guy." When you say that, then why are you on chairman of the board of a football team?
hold on, guys. I'll be back real quick. All right, yeah. I don't know. And do I have any confidence that the board of directors, which I would envision some of it is in the McCaskey family, I don't think they're
Yeah,
going to do that.
yeah. What is the board? I mean, how many does it number in? I mean, is it 12, 10, 5, or is it just one? You know,
Um,
uh, and Kevin Warren. There's many who have said that he is just for the business side of football. He shouldn't dab his nose into um, the football side of being the president. And I did get in that conversation earlier this week where it's just a lot of, because and me personally, already know what I'm thinking. My contention is, listen, just blow it up.
yeah.
Start with polls, get another GM, let that GM get a head coach, and let that head coach get his staff. That's where I'm at, and I don't think I'm gonna come off of it. I just think that it just needs to be blown up.
Yeah. And again, I can say that it looks like Kevin Warren's had an effect on the McCaskies where they're open to doing things differently.
If Yeah,
Because again, to this point, they never fired a coach in season. And when you
correct.
look at it would be either whoever the GM was, which was, and the president at the time would always be Ted Phillips, and Ted Phillips would have no say. He wouldn't really
No,
care. But with Kevin
no.
Warren coming in, he's the guy that's basically, seemingly enough, we don't know what's inside the building and how he feels, but he seems like a no-nonsense type of guy, and he had to convince McCaskey, George, to say, look, dude, we got to wrap it up. Fire is fire. Now, the
Yeah,
question is,
yeah,
obviously, with the last 3 weeks of the season going on, is Ryan Poles going to be the guy that just gets fired? And Kevin Warren's just like, you know what? We fired the coach. I'm looking at this team right now. They just ain't playing. And some of these guys are your picks. With all
yeah,
due respect to Kieran Amagadaji, he may be a rookie, but the dude sucked tonight. He
yeah,
sucked. I literally made a
yeah,
tweet saying, I don't give a crap. He's a rookie. Cut him first thing in the morning. Tell him to pack his bags and go home. Go
yeah,
use that degree from Yale and go be a lawyer. He sucks. But remember, Ryan Poles, your GM this year, drafted him in the third round. A guy coming out of Yale, an Ivy League school.
yeah,
And of course, Jonathan Grenard has his way with him easily. At that point, I was like, man, get Larry Borman there. He might suck too, but geez Louise, he can't be no worse than Kieran Amadagaji. Now, again, Thomas Brown didn't do his due diligence on the strip sack. I don't know why you're just leaving a rookie player against one of the best edge rushers on an island by himself, and they did that multiple times. And of course, he was getting beat, which had Caleb basically having to escape the pocket immediately. And
Yeah,
then like the next drive, oh, they finally start to bring chips. But even then, they still left him on an island. I'm just like, dog, are we serious? And then he's getting called for holding penalties and ineligible man downfield. I don't care if it's his first game. I've seen all I needed to see from him. He's not it. He's not the guy that's supposed to be this replacement for Braxton Jones. And I already made a video yesterday before going to this game talking about Braxton Jones being hurt because he got concussion-like symptoms. And again, I need to point this out. What are the concussion-like protocols that they're having in Hallis Hall? Because we've had multiple guys out with concussions and they have not come back.
that's
What's going
true.
on there?
That's true. Or
And
even
then
no updates at all.
no,
Um, I mean, one could simply say if we can go, strictly, onto the negative side of that and just simply say, hey, concussions is the reason why, hey, I just go ahead and sit the entire year. Let me just get my concussion and I'll sit. But, on the positive side, let's just say that it truly is a concussion. And he's going through the protocol and he's, doing his due diligence to try to at least get back on the field, regardless. It's in the last 3 games. And we can go ahead and say that as well, too. But no one wants to be a part of a losing franchise.
no.
No one. No one whatsoever. And the Bears have been doing this historically, religiously for a good while now.
Since 2018.
And yeah,
But
and
really,
and
really, if you want to be honest, the last time they made the playoffs was 2020.
yeah, but and we can even say even before then, where the Bears have had difficulty putting together winning seasons. I mean, heck, we've all talked about it as well before. I mean, they fired a head coach after a 10-win season. So mean, it's just, and now here it is. We have a head coaching search that's about to begin. Um, how are you going to start?
Yeah,
You
they're
know,
gonna get rid of the
me
GM.
personally, I'm just and for me, that's where I say, I like Ryan Poles. I like some of the things he's done, but where I am right now in my line of thinking is I just think Ryan Poles is soft, and he does not seem to want to make those hard decisions to further the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, he
Now
doesn't
I
want to.
could be wrong.
It, he hires too. He has too much trust and too much belief, guys. He
Yep.
has an issue with not wanting to pay guys or even overpay for guys that, let's be honest, we may actually need in the building. Again,
Well, I mean, if you really want to say that, then I mean, dang, I mean, did he overpay for, oh golly gee, our the guy, Tremaine Edmonds?
Jermaine
Did we
Emmons, yeah,
overpay there?
yeah,
I mean, did we overpay with DJ Moore? I mean, when when the Bears pulled the trigger on Keenan Allen? I mean,
yeah,
what are we getting there?
yeah.
You know,
Give a fourth round
did
pick for
he
that.
did he go out and go grab, premier offensive lineman? Well, we all know the answer to that is no. He got these stopgap guys,
Yeah.
So
And then the
I
one investment he did make on offensive line, he no longer in the team because of his lazy attitude.
correct Nate Davis. So I'm just like, I'm yeah, I just say let's just go ahead and blow it up because I think this the main thing is that we, in addition to getting a head coach that can further the develop of Caleb Williams, we need to put a dent in what the Detroit Lions do. and what Minnesota Vikings do and what Green Bay does. Here it is. We got a season in which we could have had all four teams in the division potentially win 10 games. Potentially win 10 games. And here it is. Three of those teams have already done it. As a matter of fact, three of them got 11. So, no, 10. 10. So they got to put a dent in these guys. So that's why I say look at Detroit and let's just start grabbing coaches off that sideline.
Yeah.
Whether it's Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn.
Aaron Glenn, after his performance yesterday, I'm cutting him off the list. No,
That's true.
he almost
That's
gave up.
true.
He realistically gave up a 50 burger against the Buffalo Bills. I don't care that they got all the injuries. They dang near gave him
Well,
a 50 burger.
and it is Buffalo. It is Buffalo. But it's Buffalo, and y'all ass was at home, and he put up 48
Yeah.
with a defensive head coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I to
My
some
top
extent,
my
I
top
agree
three
with you.
candidates right now are Ben Johnson, Vrabel, and Joe Brady. Those are my
Well,
top.
for me, and I agree with you there. Um, but I honestly think that we need to clearly look at the coaches within our division. Because I mean, to take a coach from a team, um, that's huge. And I think if we can get Ben Johnson from Detroit, that would be huge. Now, granted, yeah, we got questions about Ben Johnson. We are not necessarily sure about his leadership style, his leadership skills and abilities. Can he rally the troops? Let's just say like Dan Campbell can. Will he be able to? Because we also see that it's a big difference in being an offensive coordinator and the head guy, Thomas Brown. He was really good as the OC. He was really good as the OC, but then once they gave him the the keys to the kingdom, I mean, look at what you got.
This was on the
Oh, what he
broadcast, by the way. This is on the broadcast.
so, I mean, it's an amazing difference to go from coordinator to head guy. And Thomas Brown clearly has issues in doing it. And we really need to question if Ben Johnson can do it.
Yeah.
Bobby Slogan can do it. Joe Brady can do it. We need to really see if they can. So we'll see moving forward. But I honestly think we just need to really start with Ryan Poles, man. I mean, I got to admit, I like the guy, but it's time to blow it up. And
Yeah.
Kevin Moore can just come in and just clean house, just clean the entire house underneath him.
Yeah.
Because
Again,
again, you don't want a head coach to come in and say those magic words. But this wasn't my quarterback. I mean, this wasn't my quarterback. And then he starts blowing up everything beneath him. So you just gotta I say tear it all down.
yeah. Um, the offense just couldn't get anything started. They went for it on the first drive for first down. DeAndre Swift, I would say, played a really good game. He was probably the one player on offense that was actually really good tonight. But even on those short goal line situations, that's where you miss Roshan Johnson
Yep.
in those
Big time.
fucking shorts.
Big
And
time.
it's like now I'm looking back and I'm like, wow, I wish you just didn't trade Khalil Herbert away for a seventh round draft pick.
Mm, I won't say all of that, but because I mean,
Well, we needed at least running back depth. It was this Swift and then Homer.
well, that's true. I mean, injuries can debilitate a team, but and I do agree with you. I agreed that we should have traded Khalil for a seventh rounder. Yeah, I think we could have got something better than a seventh rounder. But considering how he's playing in Cincinnati, maybe a seventh rounder is not so bad. But I think he's playing the way he's playing is because Chase Brown is really playing the way he's playing, So, because at the time, I don't think Chase Brown was really doing really well at all. But Khalil Aber got there. Chase Brown is like, oh, that's an eye opener. Let me just go ahead and start balling out like I know I can, you
Yeah.
know. But
And I can't, obviously, Caleb Williams had his struggles today. I think the number one thing is people obviously said he held onto the ball and he missed receivers that were open. The same thing with Justin Fields. I just really think if you get an offensive minded coach in there, he'll literally coach him up and be like, bro, just take the chance. Because we had Eberflus who was like, don't take that chance. Do not take that chance. Be safe as
yeah,
football.
yeah. And then on top of that, come on, man. Again, and I know I've said it ad nauseum. He's a rookie with a piss poor offensive line. He's a rookie with a piss poor offensive line. There's only so much a rookie can do when one, his wide receivers aren't getting separation, and two, the offensive line can't hold their blocks. And then that makes him run for his life. It's only so much you can do. Now he wants the Bears wanted to drop the guy that can complete passes. Well, damn, we got one. We got a one, protect him, and then two, get wide receivers that can beat separation, that can beat their coverage.
Yeah.
And I mean, as good as DJ Moore has been, I mean, I gotta admit, I would go as far as to say that sometimes I just don't think he's playing 100%. It just don't look
Yeah.
like.
He looked like he hurt. I think he'd been hurt for a good chunk of the season, but he's just going out
Okay.
there playing through the injury.
And if that's the case, then I commend him on it. I really do. But, that 2-point conversion that was late in the game, just here, I mean, if he hurt, then to me, he ran a little bit too deep of a pattern where the wide receiver was. I thought he would have cut to the inside pylon and not the front pylon, not the outside pylon. But I mean, if he hurt, then yeah, take him out.
Yeah.
Um,
And then I'm also kind of done with Keenan Allen. I kind of want him to
yeah,
walk.
me too.
I want him to walk away because I think he's really holding Rome back in the connection he could have with Caleb Williams.
Yeah,
Um, he it looked like Caleb Williams was actually targeting Rome, and then Keenan Allen comes out of nowhere and tries to catch the ball and he drops it again. And really, that ball's supposed to go to Rome on the corner of
yeah,
the end zone right there. And it's
yeah.
like, dude. And I'm just questioning, I'm like, why we trade a fourth round pick for this guy? We could have used that for an offensive lineman.
And then on top of that, he was hurt for about what 3 weeks. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to get in a veteran wide receiver to help the development of the younger wideouts, but it's just something totally different when that veteran wide receiver comes in and he does the whole wide receiver diva things, and it's about me, 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 which I think it seems like that's what Keenan Allen has been doing. Because I mean, Rome is the future of our wide receiver core. I mean, respect to DJ Moore, but Rome is the future of our wide receiver core. And I think that, Keenan Allen does seem to, hurt that or debilitate that. And it's again, it was a nice experiment. It's just not
Yeah,
working.
it just didn't work.
It's just not working. So maybe we'll wind up, let's just cut bait, save that salary cap slot
Well,
for
he on the
somebody else.
final year of the deal, so he let him walk.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, that's fine.
Let him
Let them
go
walk.
back. Let him go back to the Chargers because he said like he'd either come back or he go back to Los Angeles. I'll be like, well, then go back to Los Angeles. Go pair with your
Yeah,
boy Justin Herbert and ride off into the sunset.
yeah. Which I don't think they will do. They might because they're
Yeah,
they're hurting for
if
wide.
he's willing to take a pay cut.
Yeah, which I don't believe he will.
Yeah.
I
You're
don't
gonna get
believe
at
he will.
least try to get that one last big contract. If in anything, then you're gonna have to find it somewhere else.
Correct. One of them, 2-year, $40 million deals, or that DJ Moore contract that he got, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
And then the only other thing offensively that, let's just be honest, upset me the most. When the Bears were looking to get back in the game and make it a game and at least cut the score to 13-7, you have a touchdown run by DeAndre Swift. I'm like, okay,
Yep.
good. Then you have a flag come in.
Yep.
And then the flag is on Doug Kramer.
Yep.
and the referee says because the player did not tell us that he was eligible, he's an
He didn't check.
ineligible player. And
He
when
didn't
I
check
saw that,
in.
I'm driving back in my car. I'm driving in my car as I'm listening to this. And I'm like,
He didn't
are
check.
you effing serious right now? And they showed on the replay, he just runs into the huddle, doesn't get even close, doesn't alert the referees that he's coming in and he's eligible. And even though my tweet says like you got to blame coaching for not letting him know, like, hey, remember you got to be eligible. I still, regardless, hold that more on the player than the coaching because,
If
well,
the coach
hold
don't
on, hold
tell
on,
him,
hold
go
on.
ahead. Go ahead.
He's been doing this play multiple times this season. Multiple times this season, he's come in and he's been the lead fullback. So even though yes, the coaching has to do their part and say, hey, kid, remember, let them know that you're going in. It's also on the player if you ran it more than 10 times, you should know, I gotta make sure I tell the ref I'm eligible. He didn't do that. I'll give the coaching 20% of the blame. The other 80 goes on Doug Kramer. And after I saw
Well, the
that, and I'm just like, you
well, the
can go
coach
too.
also got to let the officials know on the sideline that the guy's going to be eligible. He's got to let them know on the
Well, no,
sideline.
the players got to show the sign. It doesn't have
Well,
the
that's
coach has no
true.
say.
That's true too. But they also have to prepare the officials on the sideline as well. That
Yeah,
hey, this guy's coming in is going to be one of those eligible players that we need on in a particular position. Granted, it's double duty. I wouldn't just put it all on Kramer. I mean, Kramer deserves blame, yes, because once he comes in, yeah, and I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I didn't look for it. I didn't see that he actually made that sign, or maybe he did make
he
that
didn't. He
sign.
didn't. They showed on the
He
replay.
didn't
He
make the
just went
sign.
to the huddle. He just went straight to the huddle.
Okay. Okay. Well, then I like to say, just again, it's just another one of the major and many miscommunications that come from the Bears sidelines that, or don't come from the Bears sidelines
It's just
that
undisciplined. It's
has
just
pretty much,
undisciplined.
yeah, it's just debilitating the team as a whole. Now, that's probably where we probably should get someone like Vrabel
Yeah.
that can line in a lot of those disciplinary issues, you know. But we got to pick our poison with the next guy, man. I mean, I got to admit, I would prefer that because if you're going to assume that Ben Johnson's going to leave Detroit,
You might as well go
that's
get him.
that's a big assumption. That's a big assumption. So you can't sit up and say, "Well, we're going to get Vrabel because Ben Johnson he's going to leave anyway, and it's going to hurt the Detroit Lions." I don't buy into that. I'm not buying into that. I've already said on this channel that my belief is if they don't win a Super Bowl, he may stay until they do. He may stay one more year. That's just my personal feeling. So Bobby Slovic, he stayed.
No, he's been mid at best this year. I wouldn't touch
Well,
him.
I know, but when he was hot, he stayed.
Yeah.
You got these OCs that are staying with their teams, you know. So I'm just like, okay, now let's just not assume that, he's just gonna up and leave and Detroit is gonna be a little bit, weaker next season. Let's not assume that. Just go get the guy and make him weaker,
Yeah.
you know. But discipline is a thing that I honestly think Vrabel automatically brings to the table.
Yeah.
Discipline. And now, granted, he's from the defensive side of the football.
Yeah. That's the only thing you gotta ask him, like, who's your offense coordinator then?
Yeah, that's going to be the main thing. Who's going to be your offensive coordinator? Who's going to be your defensive coordinator? Are you going to have a defensive coordinator? Or is it just going to be the same thing? Head coach gets the job. Head coach calls the defensive signals, you know,
And
and
then also too, what type of defense are you running? Are you running 3-4? Are you running 4-3? What is it? What's the
correct,
defense being ran?
correct,
Because if you run
correct.
a
And if
three
you're
four,
going to
well then your defense it could honestly be overhauled.
Yep, your personnel does not fit the scheme. So, I mean, we'll see. We will see and I gotta admit, Eric Washington is not any better. So that's another reason
That's
why I
what
just say
that's what I
just
told I was
just
watching. I walk in, my dad's complaining about them not just sitting back in the zone, and I was telling my dad, I'm like, Dad, they got it from Eberflus. They're not going to
yep.
change. What else? You can fire Eric, and my dad was like, fire Eric Washington tomorrow. I'm like, Dad, you can fire him tomorrow, and whoever comes in to be the new interim
It's
defensive
gonna do this.
coordinator.
It's
They're
gonna
going to
do the
run the
same
same
stuff.
scheme.
It's gonna
It's going to
run
be
the
nothing
same
different.
scheme. Because if you sit up here and try to change your scheme mid-season or late in the season,
It's going
you're
to make
gonna
things
fail
worse.
anyway.
It's going to make
You're
things
gonna
worse.
Yeah, you're gonna fail anyway. How you gonna sit up here and tell cats, hey, we're just gonna run man. We're gonna run more man when they've been running zone all year. You don't have cats on that team and the cats were brought in to run zone.
Yeah.
So it's just again, just like I said before, I mean, and even if Vrabel does get the head coach slot, who's gonna be the OC?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the DC? Now, these are the questions that's going to be asked next year, too, regardless of whether
Yeah.
I will tell you if they fire Poles, then yeah, we're going to be asking who the HC, who the DC, and who the OC is, because whoever that new HC will be, he going to clean the house underneath him, too. And please start with Chris Morgan.
Yeah, Chris Morgan, he got to go. He got to go.
Yeah, man. I just,
So,
I'm so
uh,
sick and tired. That offensive line has just been that bad.
yeah, and then if anybody read the Dan Wieder Chicago Tribune article, that was damning on Ryan Poles. I'm not going to talk much about it.
Yeah.
But it basically confirmed like he was the main guy that selected Matt Eberflus from the beginning and everything because he just liked him and everything and the interactions he's had with him. Again, obviously a bunch of other stuff in that article. I'm not going to talk about that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
defensively, I will say they were better than they played with a little bit more inspired play, but even then, it's like there was some instances for the defense, it was just like the first game, letting up a 3rd and 17. Let Aaron Jones run essentially a drag check down route, and he gets a 3rd and 17. And I'm just like, dude, get off your blocks, make a tackle, get him down. Is that too
Yeah.
hard? But no. And then even when we blitz, we can't get no pressure. I will say DeMarcus
Nope.
Walker played a solid game today. Sweat.
There was one blitz late in the fourth quarter in which TJ Edwards got a sack, but
Yeah,
they
but
came with
that was
seven.
garbage time. At some point,
Yeah,
you
I
don't
know.
even
I mean, but
care.
they came with seven. Usually when they blitz, it's just like, dude, man, why are y'all going with five? Why are you going with six? Man, go get that joker.
Yeah,
But it's just
yeah,
like I said, it's I mean, we're gonna probably have to wind up having a lot of videos in the off season talking about this candidate, talking about that candidate, and we're doing it
realistically, we
again.
can also be talking about is this roster even ready to compete? Because to be honest, the more I look at it, it's like we look like we could be 2, maybe 3 off seasons away from competing, at least in
Of
the
course.
division. And that's
Depends on
strictly because you got to get the trenches right.
depends on what they do moving forward. You are absolutely correct. If they do not fire Poles and allow Poles to hire the next guy, and then this next guy comes in with that soft attitude like Eberflus does, is Poles gonna do the whole? You know what? I don't want to go with this guy because he's a big ego, and I just don't feel comfortable with this guy with because he has such a big ego. He's going, man.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. There's nothing else to say. I put it on my Instagram story. I'm like, can the Bears season end at least for my health and then my sanity? Thank God we got 3 more games. It's not going to be easy to get through because we got to get through Detroit one more time. And then God help me, we got to play Seattle. Well, Seattle, I don't know what Geno Smith's status is, so who knows? But even
Yeah.
then, maybe we'd probably still lose to freaking Sam Howell with how this
And
team's
I
getting
picked
out.
I picked Seattle to win that game, and Green Bay went up in there and beat the brakes off of them.
Yeah. Well,
Went into Seattle.
I don't think we expected Geno Smith to go down in the game.
Doesn't matter, man. It was the reason why he went down is because Green Bay put his ass down.
Yeah. And then obviously the typical last season of the game in Green Bay and Lambeau, which is going to be a blowout because at
Oh
that
yeah, they're
point
gonna
we don't
smoke.
care.
Yeah, they gonna smoke us. I'm
And then
There's
I'll
no
be
there's no pride whatsoever in this team.
yeah.
There's no rivalry at this particular moment. There's a
There's
rivalry
nothing.
when
They're
both
just
sides.
they're waiting just like the fans. We want the season
Yeah.
to be over with, and it's a shame to them because That just tells me, well, then that means you're not playing for the next contract. If you're on a 1 year deal, you're not putting yourself and getting good film out there for somebody to see. I mean, like maybe we might need to trade for you, and maybe if it's a good deal, the Bears actually do trade for you. It's a simple stuff.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to say it again, but again, the season ended in Washington, and of course, funny enough, yesterday Washington is the reason why we got eliminated from playoff contention.
Well, we weren't really in
Yeah, we
playoff
weren't in it,
contention.
but I'm just saying, funny story. Our season truly ended in Washington, but Washington wanted to basically dashed our playoff
Yeah.
hopes,
Yeah.
and it really
So anyway,
effectively ended our season for good.
yeah. So anyway, like I say, um, all we can do right now is just sit back, watch,
Watch,
wait,
hope things go away.
talk, talk,
Hopefully,
and
they hear us.
yeah, hopefully, hopefully. But like I said before, I'm not coming off of it. I just think Ryan Poles needs to go.
Yeah,
And I can't see any other scenario that he as a GM turns this thing around.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Bear fans as of late have been turning on him. I don't blame them. He's definitely culpable for all the issues that have happened, and there's really nobody else to
Yep,
blame but the players. But
yep,
then again, it's
yep.
like you look at the GM and you look at the rosters he's assembled, and it's just like you're not objective blame either. Maybe you're actually the problem. Maybe Eberflus was a part, but maybe the main culprit of this entire thing going on is you. And again,
I'm sorry, that offensive line, that's all Poles.
yeah,
There's only that's all Poles. If you look at Green Bay's offensive line, Minnesota's offensive line, Detroit's offensive line, those are really you can start there as far as the reason why those teams are that good.
yeah,
And our offensive line has been piss poor ever since Poles got here.
yeah. And again, he's drafted guys that are more maybe outside of Darnell Wright, they're more guys that are like him. Braxton
Yeah,
Jones, Karen
yeah,
Omegagaji, Doug
yep,
Kramers, blah 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 blah.
yep.
The list can go on.
And Chris Morgan as coach.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
not helping.
just that doesn't help as well either. So all of this was
Like,
done under
look at the
Poles.
Packers, for example. Their offensive line coach, I still don't know why they let that happen. But Luke Bucktis, Dick Bucktis, God rest his soul, son, is coaching the Packers
The
offensive
Packers,
line.
coaching the Packers offensive line.
Your hated rival and one
Packers
of your best players in your iconic history is a Packers assistant coach.
and the Packers are heralded for having one of the best OLs in the league. I mean, look at what Josh Jacobs is doing. Look at what Aaron Jones is doing. I mean, do I even need to mention Montgomery and that
Gibbs.
and Gibbs? Do I need to mention that?
Yeah.
I don't
That's
care how
another
great.
question. If you do hire Ben Johnson, who the O line coach? I need to know who
Yep,
that is. It ain't some
for sure,
loser, right? Are you bringing
for
your O
sure,
line coach from Detroit?
for sure. And I will tell you, I'm pretty sure Ben Johnson's going to be like, well, the first thing we need to do is scrap this offensive line.
Oh yeah.
Because you can, and I mean, golly gee, with that offensive line, golf looks like freaking Joe Montana.
Yeah. And we're gonna get out of here, but if that first pick in the first
Yep,
oh, in the first round is not offensive line, I'm just gonna be like, that already tells me what all I need to know. You guys ain't listening. You
yep,
guys are just gonna be ignorant.
yep,
But
yep,
anyways, I'm gonna get
yep.
out of here. I got a long day tomorrow and things like that, but I'm not gonna let the Bears get me down. 3 more weeks of this crap, and then I can fricking go watch something else. At least I got college football playoff stuff to go look forward to. At least that'll be fun football. But we'll be back next
Yeah.
Sunday for Bears versus Detroit Lions and another loss. And hopefully
Oh
Ryan Poles is
gosh.
still wondering if he can still take the North. But he probably won't. He's taken the North, the NFC North cellar, and he's not giving it back. So good on you, Ryan
Yep.
Poles. You're now the worst
Yep.
team. And honestly, also, just to make a mention to get out of here before we get in, Jason Kelsey, the halftime show, said, we're going to find out to see if the Chicago Bears are an actual NFL organization.
People in
Laughing
Chicago
stock.
can answer that question right now.
Laughing stock.
Yeah. People in they can answer that
People
question
saying you're
right
not
now.
even an NFL organization.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But
Yeah.
no, they won't do nothing about it. They'll just be like, oh,
Nope.
who cares?
Hmm. Yep.
Anyways, if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts. Hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Chicago Bears content. And we'll be back for Sunday's game recap. Tuesday, not yeah, maybe tomorrow. Predictions video, probably not actually. I'm busy Tuesday, but we'll see. Anyways, till then, guys,
Yep.
peace.